welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. Today's video is going to be my first ever BYOP and I am really excited about this. One of my goals this year is to get more use out of the makeup I already have in my collection, more specifically my single shadows. I'm an eyeshadow palette girly, so I feel like my singles really go ignored and I want to change that. So I thought it would be fun to sit down maybe a couple times a month and just create a color story that draws inspiration from either something that's being released, maybe there's an upcoming holiday, the season, just something that inspires me, and then create a couple of looks with that, and hopefully along the way I can inspire you to do the same thing. So today's eyeshadow palette draws inspiration from Valentine's Day. I know, not original at all, but we've got a lot of palettes coming out that are heavily themed around the holiday, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of create my own version of a Valentine's Day palette. Now I will have everything that I use in today's video linked and listed down below in the description box, so per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always to the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But without further ado, let's jump into this video. Alright y'all, so this is everything that I'm going to be working with to build my palette. I've never done one of these before, so I didn't want to overwhelm myself with choices. So I just brought in all of my single eyeshadows that I have. I do have a full video up on my channel swatching all of these. And then I brought in these two palettes from Beauté bar. So both of these are all matte palettes. They're magnetic, and I figured this would give me a good variety. Maybe as I do more of these, I can bring in more of my magnetic palettes. But like I said, I didn't want to overwhelm myself with choices. So over here is going to be all of my mattes. These are all Oden's Eye mattes. And then over here we have shimmers. So in my mind, I want to do something kind of Valentine's themed. I don't want to do like a monochromatic red and pink palette. I want to bring in purples and maybe some neutrals and things like that. So that's kind of what I have in my head. But other than that, I have no idea what I want to do. Maybe later I can find inspiration and things like that. But let's go ahead and let's start with a shimmer. So I kind of want to build this around a shimmer, and this one right here from Fantasy Cosmetica is absolutely stunning. This is a holochrome shadow and it's in the shade Grimoire, so we're gonna pull this one aside for now. I will swatch all these out. For now I just want to pull shades that are kind of interesting to me, and then we'll swatch them out, rearrange it, make decisions, and go from there. So I'm going to put all of them in this little palette right here. That's what we're going to build our color story in. So we're going to put that aside. In here, I don't think I'm going to pull anything. This isn't really the vibe I'm going for. These are more like green and grungy. Let's move on to in here. Ooh, yes. Okay, so these are all Terra Moons, and then down here we've got, I think, Bella Beauté bar, and then that's a Sydney Grace. But looking at these, this one right here could be fun. This one has some beautiful flips to it. This one is in the shade Saturn's Sunset, so we're gonna pull that one. And then I want to bring in something a little bit more purpley, and I'm looking at this one right here, but then I'm also looking at these two. So maybe we'll pull in both of these. These are both kind of giving me the vibe that I'm going for. So this one right here is going to be Eagle Nebula. Oh, so pretty. And then the other one is going to be Ripple in Time. So I'm going to pull in those. We have 4 shimmers so far, which we can always bring in more. These are Sydney Grace singles. So this is from the In Mel's Memory Bundle, and shimmer wise, I don't think there's anything in here I want to bring in. I do want to bring in like some more kind of just plain shimmers without shifts and things like that, but let's go through Oden's Eye. So these appear all going to be shimmers, and these are going to be the multi-chromes down here. I'm kind of thinking this one and maybe this one right here. Those could be really, really pretty. So this one would make a beautiful like inner corner shade, and then this one would, or this one would be a really pretty inner corner shade as well. But then there's this one over here. That one's really pretty too. Wow, decisions are so incredibly hard. Let me grab my little magnet real quick. So we're gonna pull all of these actually really quick. So let me pull out these two first. So we have the shade Ella, which is going to be that one, and the other one is going to be the shade Olivia, and this one has like a little bit of like an orange flip to it, but it could still kind of go with what we're going for. I'm gonna pull this one as well, which is gonna be the shade Chloe. It's a really pretty purple shimmer shade. And then is there anything else in here that I want to pull? Ooh, maybe we should do like one of these multi-chromes. I like this one right here. This one's gorgeous. This one is called Lily. Like, look at how beautiful that one is. Okay, so we're gonna pull that one. I don't want to make this a huge palette. I'm kind of thinking maybe a 9 or 12 pan color story because I only want to do 2 looks with this palette and I don't want it to be too much. Okay, that's mattes. Okay, in here we have all of my Glaminatrix shimmers, and these are, or singles. These are incredibly beautiful, and I'm looking at what I have. So let me pull this over here. So this is what we have going on, and then looking at these, this one right here definitely catches my eye. This one is in the shade Angel. That one's absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna pull this one. And then do I want to pull any of these others? There's definitely some mattes in here that I see that I want to pull. So maybe I should start pulling those while I'm here. This one right here is beautiful. This one is in the shade Orchid. I really like that one. And then I'm also liking this one right here as well. This one is in the shade Chaser. So we're going to pull both of those. So we've got 2 mattes, and then we have all those shimmers in there. I think this one I might put back. I just don't feel like that one's kind of going with everything else. It has that really pretty orange flip to it, and I don't really want to bring orange into this, but for now, I think maybe that's it. I feel pretty good about this. This gives me a really good variety of shimmers and multi-chromes and things like that. So let's do, is there any other matte shade that I want to bring in from in here? I'm kind of thinking, maybe no? Yeah, okay, so we're gonna close this one and put it out of the way. And then I am going to put this one right here back from Odin's Eye. This one is in the shade Olivia. So let me just pop this one over here. That is shade number 2. So she goes right there. All right, let's do some mattes. So we're going to start right here with Odin's Eye. And this one right here is really pretty. I think that would go really nicely. But then there's also like these 2 purple shades as well. So let's start with this one. This is in the shade Hella. Ooh, that's really pretty. I like that. And then let's pull in this one as well. So this one is in the shade William. Very pretty. Okay, I'm kind of liking the vibe that we have going on over here. This is very pink and purple so far, but I definitely want to bring in a little something else. So let's go into, let's start with this palette right here, the Melted Mattes palette. So I'm just going to turn it this way. There we go. I'm trying to make sure that we don't have like weird reflections going on. So I definitely want to bring in a black. I love a black to kind of deepen things up. So we're going to bring that in. And I'm kind of thinking maybe this shade right here. So what's the name of the black shade? It's just, these don't have shade names. So I'm going to bring in these 2 for now. Hopefully I can remember where these go. Do I want to do like a neon moment with this? Like maybe this shade? Or is that going to be too much? This one's really pretty too. Maybe we'll bring in this one. We can always put things back. So let's bring in this. Let me move some of these over. Everything just kind of thrown in here. Okay. Okay, I think we're gonna be done with this palette. And let's go on to the Best Mattes palette. This one has got so many shades in it. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is like every shade you could possibly want, but I'm extra, so I need more. Okay, so right off the bat, I definitely want to bring in this shade right here. These don't have shade names, unfortunately, but we're going to bring in that one. I want to bring in this red, just a little pop of red. And then I'm looking at what we have over here versus over here. Maybe, I don't know. Kind of feeling this shade right here, this really pretty like periwinkle purple shade. Yeah, I like that. That's really pretty. Okay. And then maybe we want to do, I don't know. Let's do, this one's really pretty, but that's awfully similar. Do I want that many light shades in here? No, but I think this one's gonna go better than that one. But then do I need both of these shades right here? Like these two are very similar to each other. So I'm looking at this little trio right here and I'm kind of thinking we're gonna put this one back. I'm not exactly sure where that goes. We're just gonna pop it there. We're gonna leave that one in, and then let's do, kind of liking what we have going on right now. I think this is really pretty. It's definitely very pink and purple with a pop of red in it, but you know, it is what it is. Speaking of pop of red, I just had an idea of something I want to bring in. Let's bring in this one right here from Odin's Eye. This is a multi-chrome and it's red and it's absolutely gorgeous. I think that would be a really good addition to this palette. So I think this is kind of what we have to work with. So let's kind of, let's rearrange and swatch and see what we have going on. I might want to bring in more stuff. I don't know yet. Decisions will be made. Let's just put it that way. So I want to rearrange this. So how do we want to do this? So let's pull all of these out over here and then kind of place these in the palette as we go. So we've got all of my Odin's Eye, we've got Fantasy Cosmetica, and then of course we've got Glaminatrix and Terra Moons. So let's do, I want to do that shade first, and then maybe we'll do this one, and then maybe that one, and then throw in that for my top row. That looks really pretty. I do like that. Y'all, I have no idea what I'm doing. Some of you might be screaming at the screen because you do this all the time. This is the first time I have ever taken singles and like made my own palette. I always have like ideas in my head, but yeah, I've never done this before. Okay, so that is my first row. I think that looks really, really pretty. I do want to put, I think, this one right there. And then maybe we'll put that there. I definitely want to keep in this shade, so maybe we'll do that. We need the pop of red. I think the pop of red is very much so needed, which means we're also going to need that as well. Okay, I'm kind of liking where this is going. That's really pretty so far. I don't think I want to leave in the hot pink though. I just don't think that's going to go with the palette. I think it's going to bring in too much, and I want to keep this a very certain aesthetic. So we're going to bring that in. Maybe that shade. I don't know if I like that shade in there either. No, I'm not really feeling that so much, but I do want to bring in this really pretty soft pink. I think that's gorgeous. I think this one is really pretty for in here. And then as far as inner corner shades go, let's swatch these two out. So those are the two that we have. Definitely this one. I'm looking at it, and this one right here is going to be our winner. So that one's going to be pulled in. And then we have these left. So I'm thinking maybe we will pop this back in, and then we'll put that in, and that can be our color story. That looks really pretty. What do we think? Obviously nobody's here to tell me yes or no, but I'm looking at this and I definitely feel like there's a couple of different looks I can get with this palette, and I think it would be fun. So let's kind of swatch out what we have, but I do want to kind of see. Ooh, that one's really pretty too. That's like a taubery shade. I kind of like that. That's pretty too. Let's see. Oof. Okay. I don't know, y'all. That one definitely has to stay. That one is so incredibly beautiful. I kind of like this one down here, but what do I want to take out? That's the problem. I don't think there's anything I want to take out. Let's swatch this one right here. That one is gorgeous as well. Nope, I think we're going to leave in what we have and then just leave that over there. So how do I feel about the way this is arranged? I kind of feel good about this, honestly. I think this looks really pretty. Obviously, like the pan size and everything are like different and weird and kind of throwing me off, but we've got something kind of light to start out with. We've got some deepening up shades in here. We've got a little bit of variety. I do feel like this is a little shimmer heavy, but I think it's going to be okay, honestly. So I want to swatch this out as I have it laid out in here and see how I feel about the color story. All right, let's go ahead and swatch this out. So I'm just gonna go in the order they're laid out in the palette. I will have all these shades listed and linked down below in the description box, but I'm not gonna take the time to pop them out and start telling you what the names are, but I'll have them listed in the order that I'm swatching them out. So if you're curious, that's where they will be. Next, we have this shade right here. Oof, that is so, so pretty. And then we have this shade. Grab a little bit more. It's kind of hard to swatch these out when they're not like in a palette and they're kind of moving around a little bit, but there we go. So there's that one. Next we have this one right here. Ooh, that is really pretty. I like that little quad right there. That's a beautiful little quad. I'd buy it, that's for sure. All right, second row, we have this absolutely beautiful red multi-chrome right here. Look at that. Oof, that is insanely beautiful. It's not the flippiest red in the world, but it's still beautiful when it swatches out, and on the lid for that matter. Next we have our neutral shade in here. This one's probably not even going to show up very well on my skin, but it's a really good blending out shade if I need to soften anything, lighten anything up, just kind of blend out a little bit. Next we have this one right here. Put that one there. Ooh, that is so pretty. It is a little bit more on the chunky side, which is not an absolute favorite, but it's still beautiful, and I feel like there's a time and place for it. And then next we have our beautiful red matte right here. Compliments of Bella Beauté bar. So far I'm really loving this color story. It's a little bit bigger than what I had kind of thought I was gonna do, but I just don't know what I would take out of here, so it is what it is. All right, next row, we've got this really pretty sort of bubblegum pink shade. Gonna put that one in there. Hope I can remember what palette all of these matte shades go in that I took out. I can always go back and watch and see where they go. But next shade we have is going to be from Glaminatrix. I do know that. Really pretty mauvey shade. Love it. Up next we have another multi-chrome right here. And then we have our black shade. I love when a palette has a black in it. It's like a must for me, or at least something really, really dark that I can smoke out my outer corner and add that depth that I love in a look. All right, last row, first shade, we have this one right here from Odin's Eye. Oh my gosh, that is a stunning multi-chrome. I love that for an inner corner or like a topper all over the lid, just to add a little extra something something. And then we have our what do you call this? I can't even think of the word right now. It's a holochrome. Oh my gosh, a holochrome from Fantasy Cosmetica. That one is beautiful. I think that just adds a little something else to this palette, a little depth, a little drama. And then we've got our last matte shade for the palette, which is this one right here. That is so pretty. Oh, I love that shade. And last but not least, we have this beautiful multi-chrome right here. All right, y'all, so this is what my palette looks like all swatched out. I will throw in some B-roll of some more swatches so you can see like overhead, up close, and all the shifts and everything, but I think this is beautiful. I'm really excited about the color story in here. It's a little bit bigger than what I had imagined, but I'm okay with it. There's not anything in here that I feel like I want to take out. I mean, realistically, I could probably take that out, but I like it in there. I think it adds that extra depth that I want. So I'm really happy about this, and I'm excited to play with it and create some looks. All right, y'all, so here she is, the beautiful palette that I created, and I am so excited to create two looks with this. So the first look that I want to do, I want it to be very in-your-face Valentine's Day. I'm talking red and pink, shimmery, sparkly, just absolutely beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this really pretty bubblegum pink shade right here. I have already gone ahead and primed my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly per usual. So I am going to pick that shade up with a Morphe M504 brush, and I'm going to start by fluffing this into my crease, building up just a little bit of depth and definition, kind of something to blend the next shade into. I think I want to bring this into my inner corner as well, just kind of like a little pastel moment. Maybe I'll go over top of it with something else, but for now, that's where we're going to start. So I'm just going to keep blending and buffing and building this shade up. Yeah, that is really, really pretty. I like this shade. So next I'm going to go in with this matte red shade up here, and I'm going to build my outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm going to start by pressing this on my outer corner. I don't want to start swiping and blending because I want to make sure that I get the full pigment payoff. I want this to be, like I said, a very heavily Valentine's Day look. I want it to be like blatantly obvious in your face. So I'm just going to press this shade down, build it up, and kind of press it up onto my brow bone a little bit. And then once I have this down, I'll go back with that first shade that I used and kind of blend out and soften the edges a little bit. So I'm just going to keep packing this shade on. I'm not really worried about what's going on my lid because I am going to go over that with a shimmer. So we're not really worried about blending all of that. It's more so up here and out here that I want to focus on. And I do want to bring this down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. So I'm just going to very lightly kind of buff it along my lower lash line, lining it up with what I have going on my lid. And I'm just going in with like the tip of the brush. So I'm not going in with the side or like the more flat part. I just want to keep this kind of precise. All right, so I'm going back with that first shade that I used, same brush, and I'm just very softly going right along the edges of that red shade that I put down just to soften everything. Again, I'm going to ignore what's going on my lid. I'm going to focus it more so up here, and then I'm also going to bring it down onto my lower lash line as well, kind of buffing it out here and then bringing it all over to my inner corner. So you could put this down first on your lower lash line and just wrap it around the whole eye, but I like to go back and just sort of buff everything out to give it a softer, more blown out look. All right, so per usual, I'm going to deepen up this outer corner just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with this matte black shade right here, and I'm going to pick it up with a Morphe M506 brush, and I'm very lightly just going to kind of tap it right here on my very outer corner. I'm going in very lightly handed because I don't want this to get away from me. I don't want it to take over. I just want to add a little bit of depth out here, just like that. I might build it up just a little bit more than that. I find it easier to go in lightly and build up than it is to kind of go back if you went in too heavy-handed. So I'm just going to kind of press and then blend, and if you need to, you can go back with the red shade and kind of blend over top, and that's probably what I'll do in just a second. But I am going to bring that down onto the very outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just right here in the very outer corner. All right, so I'm going back with my red shade, the same brush that I used, and I'm just going right over top that black shade, just kind of packing and blending it towards the inner portion of my lid, just to kind of disperse it and soften it just a little bit, because I don't want this to be like super dark and smoky out here. I just want it to have that little bit of depth. For all over the lid, I want to go in with this red multi-chrome shadow right here. So I have already gone ahead and primed my lid with my Sugar Drizzle eyeshadow base, and I'm going to pick that shade up with a BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to spray it with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus just so I can minimize fallout as I press it on my lid. And then that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by pressing this on my lid. I'm not going to start by blending it because I want to make sure that this is nice and opaque on my lid. So I'm going to press it. And then once I have that shade down and the way that I want it, I can go back and kind of buff out the edges, and I can always go in and pick up a little bit more, but you do want to wait until like your brush is dried. You don't want to go into a shadow with a wet brush because that can give you hard pan and kind of mess with the formula a little bit. So I'm just going to press, bringing it over to my outer corner, pressing it all over my lid, and I'm going to bring it over to about right there. I want to leave that very inner portion open and then put something else in the inner corner. For the inner corner, I want to go into this iridescent multi-chrome down here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe EO1 brush. I'm going to spray it once again, and I'm just going to pop this right in my inner corner. And then I think I'm going to go back in with something else and kind of pop it right in the center of my lid. So I'm just going to put that right here. I'm going to blend it up onto my lid, kind of meshing it with that red shade, and bring it down onto my lower lash line just a little bit, just so I don't have like a glob of brightness right in here. I want everything to be blended and kind of flow from one shade to the next. So I think I want to take this shade right here and just kind of pop it right in the center of my lid. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my finger. I'm not going to spray it or do anything like that. And I'm just going to kind of pop it right here in the very center and just kind of disperse it a little bit to give a little bit of like extra added sparkle. And I'm going to kind of blend it over to the inner corner as well, just right over top that shade that I just put down. Ooh, yeah, that looks really pretty. I'm going to take a clean finger and just go right along the edges so we don't have just a stripe of color right down the center of the lid, because I like everything to be nice and blended. All right, y'all, so this is the first completed look with my little palette, and I think this is so pretty. It is very fun, colorful, very much so on theme for Valentine's Day, and I really like the performance of all the shades that I used. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can pop back into my palette and create our second look. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Kylie Cosmetics liner. This is in the shade Matte Black. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. But for my second look, I want to play with the purples, of course. We knew that was coming, and I want to do something a little softer, something a little bit more romantic, not quite as in your face. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start with this shade right here, this really pretty dusty mauvey shade, and I'm going to fluff that into my crease. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a BK Beauty 212 brush, and just like I did in the first look, I'm going to start to kind of fluff this right here into my crease, but I really want to focus it more so on my outer corner and just blow it out. So once I have it down like that, I'm going to go in with just circular fluffing motions and just really kind of blow this shade out the best that I can, and to start to build it up a little bit, kind of fading it into itself towards my inner corner. Next, I'm going to go into this deeper plummy purple shade up here, and I'm just going to build up my outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Morphe M543 brush, and I'm just very lightly going to kind of press it right here on my outer corner, building up a little bit of color and depth out here. And then once I have it down, I can go back with like those same buffing circular motions and just kind of soften it and blow it out a little bit. I am going to bring this down onto my lower lash line as well, like right in that very outer portion, just like I did in the first look. So not over too far, nothing crazy or blown out. I'm not tight lining either. I'm just wrapping it around the outer portion of my lid. Now I'm just going back with that first shade that I used and the first brush that I used with it, and I'm just fluffing it along the rest of my lower lash line, kind of bringing it over to my inner corner and softening that second shade that I put down. For my inner corner, I want to go into this pastel purple shade up here and just throw in a little pop of color. So I'm going to pick that up with a Sigma E33 brush, and I'm just going to kind of fluff it right here in my inner corner, bringing it down onto my lower lash line and up onto my lid, just blending everything together, and like I said, giving a nice little pop of color on my inner corner. Once again, I prime my lid with my Sugar Drizzle primer, and for all over the lid, I can't decide exactly what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do this one, or this one, so I'm going to swatch out the three of them on the back of my hand and make a decision from there. So I'm going to start with this one, and then we'll go here and here. So starting with the first shade, I'm going to pick it up. That's what it looks like. Absolutely beautiful. Ooh, that is so fun and pretty. That would have gone really good on this eye over here if I'm being completely honest. But let's swatch out the next one. So our next one is going to be a little bit more on the purpley side. So let's see what this is going to look like. I don't want anything that's going to be too dark. That could be really pretty though, and then maybe I could put something over top as a topper to kind of lighten it up a little bit. But let's swatch out the other one. So picking that one up on my finger. Ooh, this one is really pretty. This might be our winner. Oh yeah, I love that. I love all those beautiful shifts. It has like this really pretty kind of goldy purpley shift to it, but it still looks kind of pink and purple at the same time. That one's absolutely gorgeous. I know that one is the Holochrome for Fantasy Cosmetica, and that one is called, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like Grimoire or something like that. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Everything will be down in the description box, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick that shade up with, I need a brush. All right, so I went ahead and cleaned off my BK Beauty 203 brush. So I'm gonna pick that shade up. Once again, I'm going to spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're gonna pop this all over the lid, and we'll see if we wanna pop anything in the middle to kind of brighten it up a little bit, but I think this is going to be really pretty. Of course, you could always go in with like that multi-chrome that I used on my inner corner in the first look. That would be really pretty as well, but Ooh, that is gorgeous. Look at how smooth and reflective that is. It's not chunky, it's not glittery, I'm not getting any fallout, and it just blends really nicely with the shades that I already used. It didn't take it too deep and too smoky. It still has that soft romantic look that I'm going for. So before I finish this off with liner and mascara, I'm going to go back in with that deep purple plummy shade that I used on my outer corner, and I'm just going to press it right over top of that shade that I put down for all over the lid, just to kind of blend things together a little bit and kind of give it a more seamless blend. I'm not going to take it very far over. I'm just going to put it right on that line and then just kind of buff towards my inner corner. And there you have it, our second completed look with this little palette, and I love this look. This is my favorite out of the two, which I'm pretty sure we knew was going to happen going into it because it is a heavily purple look, but it definitely gave me the vibe that I was going for, and I really love that holochrome shimmer all over the lid. I think it's so insanely beautiful, and why I haven't reached into that shade more often, I will never know. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down, see the shimmer, the shift, the sparkle, and then we can close out this video. So I went in with the same liquid liner and mascara that I used in the first look, and then in my lower waterline, I went in with a ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour. Alright y'all, so that is going to complete this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. I had such a good time putting this palette together and creating these two looks for y'all, and I hope this was a good reminder that you don't need every single new release that comes out. That's more so a reminder for myself than it is for you, but sometimes you already have the shades in your collection. You just need to pull them out, put them together, and create that same color story. But let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you like BYOPs, if this gave you a little bit of inspiration, what you thought of the look, and if you have an inspirational idea for a future BYOP, leave that down there below as well. But let's have that conversation, light up that comment section, and as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. Until my next video, have a good one. Bye.